Welcome to the third session of our series of tutorials on the core ICT subject. We continue with the topic uses of ICT tools and IT career opportunities. I hope you are enthused as I am here for us to go through this lesson as well. As I have told you, if you have any question or contribution, you can forward them through the comments portion of YouTube, or you can also go to the Facebook accounts I created for that purpose, GHSHSICT tutorial, core ICT tutorial. You can go there, put out your questions. Probably you can also go there and make your own contributions. Let's say somebody asks a question, and if you can help us appreciate or understand and then answer them for us, we would also be grateful. Alright, let us proceed to what we came for in this lesson. Alright, do you know that everything in this world doesn't exist just like that? Everything existing in our world of today is very important, and it has its use. For instance, you have trees, a lot of trees there. You have fruit-bearing trees. You have non-fruit-bearing trees. You have various animals. You have various rivers. And then you have human beings of different races and ethnic races or whatever. And you have various institutions. Now, each of these that we have mentioned have their own uses, because without them, a certain vacuum is created. Beside the vacuum, there may be some negative or adverse effects when they are not available. For instance, if we cut down all our trees, it means that we are going to lose our forest cover. It means the weather patterns will be affected. Heat will be in the system. A lot of issues may crop up. Right? We've always been speaking about the destruction of the ozone layer. When the ozone layer is destroyed, it means certain sun rays can get to us, and these rays do make us sick. So everything, every human being, every object that does exist in our world of today is very, very important, and it has its own use. Alright. So just as I have my uses, right now my use to you is teaching you the subject. And your use to me currently is for you to give me your attention as I deliver my lessons. That will be my satisfaction. So if you don't read, or if you don't listen, if you don't pay attention to my presentation, then it means that you are not finding what I'm doing useful, and I will not also find what you are there for as useful. Right. Apart from what we have just given as examples, ICT tools have several uses. Okay, we have so many uses of them, and in order to identify some of these uses, normally we look at what some of the professionals do. Right, so let's say you meet one particular professional in ICT is doing this particular thing. Say, oh yeah, I think what this person is doing is very useful. So that makes the ICT useful. Beside these professionals, when you go to various fields, okay, various sectors of the economy or of the society, you find that ICT tools are being used in a particular way. So if you are able to see those ways through which ICT tools are used, then you'll be able to deduce the relevance of the uses of ICT tools. Therefore, in our lesson for today, it is expected that we will be able to identify the uses of ICT in the various sectors of our society. It is also expected that you learn the various ICT professionals that take care of the various sectors within the society. So when you go to let's say health, for instance, there are ICT professionals there, and they use ICT tools for certain things. Okay, you also have people who are not necessarily ICT professionals, but they use these ICT tools there too. All right, so we look at the lives or the work of ICT professionals in the society, and whilst we look at their work, then of course you will be we wish, or I wish, to entice you into joining a career, the wonderful careers within the ICT. In fact, there are so many of them. I have been discussing ICT being in a way restricted, but beside what I will discuss, we also have the telecom sector as a whole field in itself. That field too is very interesting. So what I would do is I would always encourage you that there are so many opportunities, and it is up to you to take advantage of them. Believe you me, ICT is and will continue to be the fastest growing sector, okay, giving the very, very lucrative jobs and high incentives, good salaries as well. So prepare your minds, prepare yourselves, learn hard, and I believe one day I will see you as one of our enthused professionals. Let us come to the uses of ICT in our business sector. The first use of ICT in business is that ICT is used to automate clerical work. When we talk about clerical work, we are simply referring to the work that our secretaries do, right? For instance, secretaries do type letters. Formerly, their boss will tell them to go and use a typing machine to type a letter. They will make mistakes. They will need to use tapers to clean it. Sometimes they will be required to retype the entire document using the typing machine. Look at the time wastage, the energy wastage, and so on. But now we have ICT tools that are used in doing these things, so that the work becomes easier. So all they will need to do is to type the document once, print it out, send it, let them make the corrections, then they go into the ICT tool, make the corrections, and then print them out again without typing the entire document. Okay, so some of the clerical work besides letters are memos, employee rosters, customer lists, and so on and so forth. Another use in the business sector is that it enables workers to communicate. Communication I have explained already, but let's say I am an employee in office A and you are an employee in office C, and I need to tell you something in order for you to take an action. There are several ways I can do this. But one of the most painful way, not really painful, but if for me to walk from my office down to your office is a waste of time. Okay, I can simply sit by my system or my laptop, type a message to you, and then once you see it on your machine, then you act towards it appropriately. It may not be necessary that we may all be located at the same place, but that I may be, let's say, in Kumasi and you are in Accra. You need to do a certain work. Okay. Now, if I pick my phone and then I tell you, oh, the boss says you should do this and that and that and that, and then you're able to do it over there, then it means that we've been able to communicate, right? So it aids workers to communicate. And once we communicate, then it means the business can go on. Alright, so productivity will increase. Isn't it? Our cost comes down because I don't need to travel to Accra and tell you the information. Neither do I need to write a letter. Look at the time wasted. But in a matter of seconds, the message is delivered. Alright. In the same way, if we need to have a discussion, you have various platforms like video conferencing, right? You have Facebook to use on chat. There are several ways through which workers can communicate in order to facilitate the work in the business. Then you also have it also aids businesses in creating and maintaining records. Records are very, very important in the lifeline of every institution, especially businesses. These records can be on employees, it could be on customers, and then it could be on stock or inventory, and so on and so forth. So if at the end of the day I employ about 100 people, I should know their names, their date of birth, their place of birth, their religion, their qualifications, and so on. Now, if I need all these records, I can easily organize them on using ICT tools, and I can even access them wherever I am. Okay, so let's say I'm in Accra and my boss needs the records of let's say the accounting department. I can easily generate them from wherever I am and then forward it to him. If he's, let's say, in Koforidua, I can easily forward them to him for him to do whatever he wishes to do with. Alright. Then we have customers. Customers, you need to maintain their records. What kind of products do they like? What are their phone numbers? If there are new products, how do I let them know? Okay? If they need to place orders, how do I record their orders? So all these records are also kept. Then you have stock. That is the quantity of products that are available or that are being kept for delivery or for sales. So at each moment, I should be able to know, the company should be able to know that we have this quantity of that product in stock, so that if there are some that are dwindling, they quickly reproduce some of them and then they store them. The same way, if they need raw materials, if certain raw materials are going down, they can easily go and call on their suppliers, then they supply them. ICT has also made it possible to work outside work premises or offices. Okay, some people, they can work in their offices, is allowed, but some people too can choose to work in their homes at every moment. Formally, you need to be in the office at a particular time to work, but even you can do your work at night in your house, and whatever you do, it will be reflected in the records of your employees. Okay, so you don't need to be necessarily in the office. Let's say let me bring in a little bit of professionals here now. Let's say I'm a network administrator, and I need to grant somebody access to a certain part of the network. Okay, I may not be in the office, but I can sit wherever and configure the system so that the system will now allow that person to do his work. I can easily sit anywhere and monitor the activities of the various workers that in order to find out if there are loopholes somewhere or if there are threats somewhere so that I can curb them. So you can do your work outside your office. You can sit in your home and work, and yes, still you'll be paid. Isn't that beautiful? Then we also use ICT tools in the business sector to organize and manage business records or business accounts. And these business accounts would include budgets. Now, when you talk about budget, business friends will be able to explain it better. But simply, what you intend to spend on, the amount you intend to use in spending for a particular period in the future, that will be your budget. Then income will be the various revenues that you would receive. Okay, the various revenues. So if there's a business, the customers will purchase products. Once they purchase products, we should be able to record the amounts. Okay, then sometimes we don't necessarily need to record, but rather they will use various platforms like e-commerce to conduct the transaction. Then the money will be deducted into accounts. You will be notified that, oh, this money has arrived in our accounts and we are happy. We can work. Then so we can use ICT tools to check or organize the income that the business receives. And then we can also use ICT tools to work on expenditures. Expenditures are what we are currently spending money on, things we are currently spending money on. So if our bosses have to travel from, let's say, Temale to Wale Wale, we will need to give them TNT. So their TNT becomes expenditure. If, let's say, raw materials are finished, we need to purchase some from our suppliers. We will pay them money. So we spend money on them. All those are what? Expenditures. We can use ICT tools to organize all these business accounts. Then profit. How do we know that we got this money? We spend this amount on producing the product, and when we sold, this is what we got out of it after deducting the cost and then taxes and so on. Then we also have payroll. As I explained earlier, you have employed workers. Each day they come into the premises to work. When they come in, there should be something that checks that yes, this person has come in to work. We have a system to check that, oh, these people have worked for this number of days, and if they have worked this number of days, they are supposed to receive this amount of money per day. So if we sum all the days and multiply it by the amounts they are supposed to receive by day, we should get their salary. We should be able to deduct their taxes. We should be able to deduct their net contributions, and we should be able to pay them. Okay, so that is all around payrolls. We use ICT tools to organize payrolls as well. We've talked about taxes. If, let's say, the business accrues a certain amount, they are supposed to pay an amount, a portion of that amount to the government as tax. Okay, so we can use ICT tools to compute these taxes. Then we can also place orders, like in the case of suppliers. We can easily place orders for materials that the business needs. Then businesses are also able to communicate information about their products to their customers through ICT tools. I believe you do watch a lot of television and you also do listen to radio. You go on the internet. Now, when you go through all these mediums, you notice that you get some adverts telling you about certain products. Okay, these are first of all to inform you and then to entice you for you to come and purchase those products. So if there were no ICT tools, how would it have been possible for you to, for the business to tell the customers that, oh, we have these products and then you can come and purchase them? They even have a lot of promotions there. So, okay, if these products have these promotions, okay, which one of the promotions am I interested in? The product I'm interested in. So you see people rushing towards certain products. All right. So they are used to advertise. They are used to communicate information about products of the business to customers or potential customers too. Through ICT tools, some businesses allow customers to conduct transactions easily and faster. I'll use, for instance, our banking sector. In banking, you can easily access your, how do you call it? The money in your accounts. I've forgotten the term. Okay, you can check the money in your accounts. You can also go and withdraw money through an ICT tool. For instance, you go there, you have an ATM machine, so you can easily withdraw money. Once you withdraw money, you've transacted a business, right? Let's say I have a certain product. Let me use a Kemu for instance. You go there, you see certain products. Well, Kemu doesn't really allow you to pay through, but it advertises. So let me use take away Kemu. But you go to various ICT platforms and you're able to conduct your transactions. I don't know if you should have heard of eSwitch. Okay, you should have heard of eSwitch. You go there, you buy your product, you pay through eSwitch. You have heard of credit cards. You let's say you see a car from Toyota, you use your credit card to pay for it. You have transacted the business. Then the car will be shipped down to you here in Ghana. As the car is coming, you even be able to track its the movement of the ship into your country, right? So you can use, or certain businesses allows customers to conduct their transactions through ICT tools, and this makes it very easier for them to do so. And of course, we shouldn't miss the bit about it being convenient for the customers. So we are done with uses of ICT in business. Now let us come to the uses of ICT in healthcare. Health, your well-being. Now, keeping records is not only peculiar to business. Every sector keeps records, but the kind of records kept by each differs from one to another. For healthcare, for the health professionals, they use ICT tools to organize patients' records. Right? So this is a patient. He bears this name. He is of this age. He has these diseases. He has a history of these sicknesses. These were the treatments that were given by the doctor. These were the advices given by the doctor, right? So all those are records that are kept, so that anytime there's a need to revisit the patient's records, you don't need to bring in the paper and pen again. All you need is just use some ICT2 and then you are done. Sorry for the break. Let us continue. Right. So they use ICT tools to organize patients' records. Then they also use to schedule consultations and treatments. If, let's say, your doctor needs to see you at a particular time, they can say, okay, nurse, schedule this patient for him to come in on this particular day at this particular time. And even they're able to send you reminders through probably your phone to tell you that, oh, doctor would want to see you on these particular days, so you need to prepare and come. Then it is also used to schedule working time for members of staff. So we will know that, okay, these staff are supposed to work at this particular time. If there's an emergency, they're able to quickly inform a staff who may not be at the workplace, okay, to inform him to come and then see to patients. That is some of the uses of ICT in our health sector. Another use of ICT is that our doctors are able to use these ICT tools to detect the kind of sickness that people have. Okay, so for instance, you have X-ray machines there. They will scan you, then they will check, is there a fractured bone, and is that fractured bone causing the problem? Okay, they will scan various parts of the body and then see, oh, okay, probably this is the part of the body that has been affected. Then they'll be able to tell you, all right, if this is your sickness, then take this medicine. So they will use it to prescribe medicine for you as well. So that is one use of ICT. That is, they are used by doctors to diagnose disease and offer treatments, as well as help in prescribing drugs for patients. Now we have robots. I don't know if you've seen this advert on TV. The robots are more found or being used more in China, where especially, China, they have a lot of their population size is big, so sometimes they are not able to get human beings to handle all the aspects of work for the staff. So they develop these robots to help in some of the work that these health professionals do. So for instance, instead of a nurse going to give medicine to a patient, they can rather send a robot. The robot will go with the medicine, give it in the right proportion. The patient takes it, and then it goes to the net patients. You see it. So we are using a lot of robots in the medical field as well. And ICT tools are also used to aid in complex and dangerous operations. We have surgical robots, and these surgical robots, they are used to perform surgery, or they are used to help in performing surgeries that are very, very complex and dangerous. That if the medical doctor, by his own hands and knowledge alone, he does, probably there could be complications in a way. So they introduce or they use these ICT tools to help these doctors and these surgical nurses to perform the surgery. Okay, so that it becomes less cumbersome, becomes less dangerous, and then the complexity is reduced. So what are we doing? The doctors will be able to work on patients factor. They will be able to heal the patients faster. And that means once they're able to do that faster, they'll be able to see to more patients, isn't it? So it is obviously, as the tools are obviously making work easier for those in the medical field. We also have people called paramedics. Now, paramedics, most of them are those who work in the ambulances, right? In Ghana, we do have the ambulance service, but I don't know their levels of training. But paramedics, if there are patients who are sick, let's say someone dials a number to an emergency phone system. The paramedics are invited. They go in for the patients. Then they try to identify what is wrong with the patients. Once they are able to identify, whilst they are carrying the patient into the hospital, let's say the patient is at Bubuasi and the hospital is at 37, that's 37 hospital. Now, as they are carrying the patient from Bubuasi to 37, they are telling those over there at 37, the health professionals, what the patient is experiencing, his symptoms. Okay, if they are able to tell them what is wrong, they also communicate that to them, so that before even the patient gets to the hospital, those over there are fully prepared and are waiting the patient. So the moment they get to or they arrive, they start treating the patient without necessarily now beginning to diagnose what is wrong with the patient. I hope you do understand. So paramedics use these ICT tools to communicate health conditions to hospitals before even sending the patients or before they even arrive at those hospitals. Then we have medical scientists. Let's say somebody is a scientist, the medical bit simply has to do with scientists who are interested in conducting research into various forms of diseases that people get. And then they try to identify the causes of those diseases. Then they try to find solutions or treatments for them. That is the work of medical scientists. These medical scientists use ICT tools in conducting these researches. Okay, so if let's say they are able to find a medicine for a particular disease, they will test it using various systems. They will test it, and if it works, they will use it on a testing animal or human being. If it works, then they can then spread its usage. Now, even in observing whether it works or not, there's a need for ICT tools to be involved. So that is it for the uses of ICT tools in health sector. Let us come to the uses of ICT tools in science. For science, you have heard of space exploration. That is, we send people and various forms of machines and satellites into the space to observe what is over there. Now, whatever happens within the universe, the other elements in the universe has some sort of impact or bearing on the earth, right? So when they send these things there, it's of importance to us. People go to space to explore. How can we take advantage of whatever exists there? For instance, now we have sent a lot of satellites that enables us to communicate. So we can easily have access to the internet. Okay. This may not have been possible if they had not gone into space. Space exploration requires a lot of technologically, let's say, advanced technological ICT tools. And without them, it would have been impossible for them to do so, for our scientists to undertake such space explorations. Then our scientists are also able to make predictions on the climate, on the weather patterns. Then if there will be, let's say, an earthquake or a tornado or a hurricane, before it even occurs, our scientists are able to detect that from this particular time to this particular time, there's this formation of this year. So it is expected that this will happen, and they're able to tell us the impact of that thing that will happen. Okay, and when it happens, probably before it happens, certain preparations are done before it does take place. Okay, so they help our scientists to easily make predictions. Without it, it is impossible. Okay, our meteorologists in Ghana, you see on GTV mostly, in the northern sector, it will be hazy. In the southern sector, there will be showers. In the eastern sector, there will be thunderstorm, blah, 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 and blah. How are they able to tell all those? It is through the use of ICT tools. ICT tools are also used to study and develop various products that makes things better for man. Do you remember me talking about oven some time ago? Yes. They used ICT tools to design it. They tested it. And then I'm not talking about the local ovens we have here, but I'm talking about the foreign ones. Sometime two Ghanaians will get there. And we pray that you learn so hard and you become our scientist of the day to develop some of these products locally for us. You have science, crop research. You have CSIR and other institutions. We have Noguchi there as well. Now, these researchers are able to produce things that are very valuable to us to make life better for us. So if, let's say, our soil is becoming bad, our scientists are able to conduct research and determine which kind of chemicals or fertilizers will help us improve our yield. That will have less negative effect on the human system. Okay, so they're able to, once we are able to produce that quality food that can be able to withstand various forms of diseases, then it means life is better for us, isn't it? Now we have technologists producing advanced televisions for us. Now you have the digital TVs. You can watch so many television stations. Those of you who are so much interested in entertainment, you can get various movie stations, various musical stations, and so on and so forth. Games, okay. So how are they able to? Okay, I'm veering into something else, but let me restrict it to the science. Okay, so they're able to do things for us. They're able to produce new things for us, things that are able to withstand the negative effects of our system, and then we are able to live better lives once we get them. Let us come to the education sector. For education, we will look at it in a bit more because that is what we are involved in now. So I'll be going to cover students, the uses of ICT tools to students. Then I'll cover those to teachers, and then we also cover those to other personnel involved, like administrators and people like curriculum experts and so on and so forth. For the students, you use ICT tools to do your assignment. It helps you. Let's say, for instance, your biology teacher gives you assignment on, let's say, to tell the functions of scales on a fish. Okay, probably he just gave it to you. He didn't give you any explanation. You can easily go to the net, use search engines like Google, type the assignment there, and then it will give you several websites. Okay, then you pick these websites, you read from those different websites, you get the understanding, and then you write the answer to the question from what you have understood. Beside that too, you can also do your assignment and then submit it through an ICT tool. For instance, I may give you assignment, and I may give you an email address. Then I would ask you to type it and submit it to that email address. You submit it, I go and pick it, and then I mark. Have you not submitted your work? Yeah, you have. And then I'll give you your mark, and then you are done. Instead of probably me taking a whole bunch of books to my house to mark. If you have so many ICT tools available which are connected to the net, I think it will be very useful for me to quickly assess my students, award them marks, and so on. Then we also have, it also helps students in conducting research. I will not talk about research so much here, but I will concentrate on what I term as information gathering. So you are given a topic, or your teacher teaches you a topic. He explains it in a certain context, and then he also gives you learning notes. You pick on those notes, but probably your parents may not be so much be able to buy you so many books. You know, as a student, you need to read wide on the subjects you are doing, and then beyond the subjects you are doing. So your parents may not be able to buy you so many books, but you can easily use various educational tools like Encarta, and then you can easily search for information on the topics you are learning. You can easily visit the internet again. You can get so many websites teaching you so much about the topics you are learning. For instance, now you are learning ICT, right? You have a video teaching you on the topics, isn't it? So you gather a lot of information through ICT tools. Okay, all right. I think I have virtually explained this one, so let's skip it for now. Then you are, as a student, you're also able to share information with other people, right? Let's say you have understood a topic and your friend does not understand. You go and pick a phone, you call your friend, or your friend calls you to explain things to him or her. Then you're able to do so. You have access to the internet. You have Facebook, so you can, let's say, have a Facebook account where students discuss various topics. If, let's say, they don't understand a particular topic, they meet there. This one will explain, or this one will bring his point of view. Then another person will bring his or her point of view. Then we all learn from each other. So we share ideas. We communicate with each other through ICT tools. And all this helps us to build our knowledge and then to build our skills as well. There's something also known as distance learning. Distance learning refers to taking tuition and examination from institutions away from the location of the student. So, for instance, let's say that I am in Ghana and I want to learn a subject, I want to undertake a program in America. Okay, in America. Yes, I want to do my PhD program and I don't want to travel over there, but I want to stay here and teach and at the same time do my PhD over there. I can enroll in that institution, pay my fees all right through electronic transaction, maybe through Visa cards and credit cards and so on. So I'll pay my fees. Then I'll sit at home. Then the lecturers or the professors will be teaching me and I will be accessing the lessons through the internet whilst I'm here in Ghana. That is distance learning. What you are also doing is also distance learning. You are at wherever you are now and you are receiving lessons from me. Okay, so distance learning can be looked at from two angles. You undertaking a course there and you receiving lessons from teachers. Now you'll be assessed for the first part I talked about. You do your exams through the net and there will be a set time for you to do that exams. You send it to them and then they will mark, then give you your results. If you perform so well, they will send you your certificate as well. You see, ICT is making things so better for us now, and you students have a very good chance of using ICT tools, provided you avail yourself to it. How is ICT tools useful to the teacher? For teachers, it is very useful and its usefulness is very enormous. The first use of ICT tool is that normally we teach. And how do we teach? We deliver lessons. How do we gain the information to deliver? We have to also learn. So every moment, teachers need to be abreast with the current information on the topics that they teach. Okay? In order to be abreast, you need a lot of materials. And teachers do not or cannot afford to buy so many books. Probably they can't even contain them in their premises. So what they do is they use various ICT tools like internet, and we have educational programs like Encarta and so on. So they go to the various sites and then they gain the most current information, and after gaining them, they come to present them the way they have understood it to you. So that is one use of ICT to the teacher. ICT tools also help us to teach you. Most often when you go to ICT labs, you see that the teacher will have a projector there. There will be probably a laptop or a desktop, and then he designs or he develops the lesson through a PowerPoint. So as he teaches you, he will be displaying the salient points to you on the screen. Now that is a teaching aid for us. Okay. Aside that, this one also serves as an aid. Now I'm teaching you. Okay, so this is an aid for me to teach you, isn't it? I can also teach, or a teacher can also teach through video conferencing. You see me live. Let's say I'm in my house. You'll be in school. You all have access to the video conference devices. I'll teach you Then as I teach, I'll allow you to ask questions. Then I answer them for you, and so on and so forth. Alright. Then, apart from these, besides ICT teachers using ICT tools, they can also use ICT tools to do various things.